looks like we're ready to start our first talk of the fall 2023 Rome Talk Series. First of all, thank you for joining us tonight. I am particularly pleased and happy to welcome back to the Rome Center Omar Di Felice. As you probably read on the advertisement that we shared with you in the last few days, Omar is an ultra-cyclist. I would say he's one of the strongest ultra-cyclists in the world. And he has an impressive list of achievements, which I will not go through the entire list because it would take so long. And I know that he's not, that kind of person who takes pride in too many, recognitions in this sense. But just to give you an idea, so Omar in 2015 started a journey on his bicycle from Paris, coming back to Rome non-stop for about 1,000 miles because it's 16,000 kilometers. In winter, because, shall we say, one of your passions is for cold climates, and he's going to tell you more about it. He biked basically from Helsinki to Nordkapp in winter on his bicycle for, again, 1,000 miles. Then he entered the Trans-Iberica race where he made the second place. He biked the so-called Arctic Highway in, I think this is Canada, is that right?
It's Canada, yeah.
Yes. 1,300 kilometers. So again, approximately 1,000 miles, 800 miles. And then in 2019, he, for the first time, entered the Trans-America bike race. Well, he made the third place, the best ever for Italian. Other important enterprises, the winter from Anchorage to Attington Pass, following the Dalton Highway, that's in Alaska, I guess, in winter.
Right.
And then finally, the loop of the Arctic.
Of the Arctic Circle.
Of the Arctic Circle. And then something special that I know you're going to share with us. That's also the reason why this bicycle is here. But I want to congratulate, first of all, going back to the Trans-America, because he was here, I think,
in May. Maybe it was
for the first time.
May.
And he announced, you know what, I'm going to try the Trans-America again. And he won. So congratulations.
Thank you very much.
So, and I'm sure that you're going to say something about this. But beyond this incredible, how can I say, performances, what I really like about Omar is his passion for the environment, sustainability. Just so that you know, he's been recently listed among one of the most influential people in Italy. Also because behind this, again, incredible enterprises, there is, there's a research in terms of materials, in terms of health. There is a great passion, there is a great mental focus, but there's also now the intent of understanding what is happening to our planet. And I know that you're going to talk about that as well.
Yes.
So again, I don't think I have to add anything else. I really want to thank you for joining us today, and I'll pass. Oh, and by the way, let me thank those of you who have submitted some of the questions. We're gonna address these questions later in the talk, but I would like to turn the stage to Omar, who is gonna entertain us. Thank you so much.
Thanks for your warm welcome, and thanks for joining us tonight. And if you want, we can start with a short video presentation about my activities.
Yes.
So if we are ready, we can start with the video number 1. It's a little bit old, and I did something that you can show in the video, but you can look at the video, but it can give you an idea of what's my activity.
Sorry?
It's only for the streaming.
And okay. Can they see it here? Because now
L'ultracycling si può definire come la disciplina estrema del ciclismo tradizionale, quindi gare oltre i 300 km, percorrenze molto lunghe e tempo in sella che a volte riesce ad arrivare fino a svariati giorni.
Ok.
In realtà ho preso spunto dai grandi avventurieri e ho unito la mia passione per la bici alla passione poi per l'avventura. Il concetto di tracciare una strada per primi è molto forte e fa sì che anche io quando scelgo le mie avventure cerco percorsi e cerco di percorrerli in un tempo che non è mai stato fatto prima.
Anche per il film è molto estremo,
Questo tipo di avventure sono molto impegnative anche dal punto di vista dell'organizzazione e della logistica ed è per questo motivo che quando scelgo i partner che mi affianchino durante le imprese do la priorità a quei brand che mi danno garanzie in tal senso. Le avventure, queste grandi imprese che mi invento dal nulla, sono una vera e propria questione di cuore. Con la testa inizio a viaggiare, inizio ad immaginare il mondo ed inizio ad immaginare questi nuovi scenari da esplorare e lì nascono il più delle volte le follie più grandi. Le imprese do la priorità a quei brand che danno garanzie in tal senso. Un tipo di avventura, un tipo di impresa che comunque ti lascia qualcosa dentro perché vedi cose, soprattutto vivi delle esperienze che nel quotidiano non riesci neanche ad immaginare. Scenari e luoghi dove è possibile sognare con la propria bici da corsa. Il silenzio di quella natura incontaminata è qualcosa di unico ed emozionante. I luoghi freddi è un tipo di impresa che comunque ti lascia qualcosa dentro perché vedi cose argentine, vedi delle esperienze che nel quotidiano non riesci a... Senz'altro mi piacerebbe immaginare, ribattare un po' il mondo e passare all'altro emisfero. Scenari e luoghi dove è possibile sognare l'Australia, quindi senz'altro la Patagonia, il del mondo, tutte quelle terre ancora inesplorate. Il silenzio di quella natura incontaminata è qualcosa di unico ed emozionante. I luoghi freddi nel mondo non mancano, senz'altro Alaska, Canada, il sud dell'Argentina potrebbero essere le varie alternative. Senz'altro mi piacerebbe ribaltare un po' il mondo e passare all'altro emisfero e cimentarmi con l'inverno australiano, quindi senz'altro la Patagonia, il mondo, tutte quelle terre ancora inesplorate sulla bici da corsa in modalità
Parto con l'Antartide subito così. Adesso devi accendere.
Okay.
Sorry. Yes. No, there is.
Switch an ultra-cyclist. Using my bike to the main goal of my life.
you do this thing by yourself?
days and more is called ultracycling. And there is a two way of doing ultracycling. One is supported, so with a crew, with a support car, and with some person and the team that can help you, giving you foods, giving you assistance to the bike, and so on. And another part, another way to do ultracycling is the unsupported. So you have to go completely alone, and you have to bring with you all the stuff that you need during this your adventures or the races. Right now, the unsupported version of the ultracycling is the most popular, because a lot of people just attach some bags to the bike and keep go. And so this is a definition of ultracycling.
Excellent. And so, speaking about your latest results, I think we should maybe talk about the most recent experience with the Transamerica. No, I mean, just the idea of crossing the United States on a bicycle is just. I personally did it on a motorcycle many years ago, and that was already exhausting. And you basically took almost the same time I took on a motorcycle. Less
I
18 days,
I
is that
took
right?
18 days, 10 hours, and 13 minutes to cover from Astoria in Oregon to Yorktown in Virginia. Is
Okay,
7,000 kilometers.
can you tell us something about this experience?
Oh,
Since it's so fresh in your memory, I guess.
yeah, it was a very big experience. It was it's a race. The Trans-Am Bike race is a race, so it's a competition. But first of all, it's a journey, because you have to leave everything on your bike. So you start from the Oregon just with your bike, with some bags, and uh, you have to eat what you find on the route. You have to sleep where you can sleep. Maybe it's a motel, sometimes it's a hotel, sometimes it's just on the road.
I saw maybe a post office. Did I see a
you
picture
s-
of you
you can sleep in a post
into a
office,
post office?
but during the last day, when I was leading the race, and I was very tired, and I just want to go to the finish line. I was very exhausted, and I suffered for the sleep deprivation.
Mm.
So I start managing the last day with a power nap. So every 2-3 hours, I just stop to for a 15-20 minutes of completely recovery and sleep, and then go on the bike again. And the last day, I was so exhausted, and I just saw
Right.
I just saw something on the road, a green grass. It was a very very beautiful place, and then I start sleeping, and after 20 minutes, when I opened the eyes, okay, Omar, you are in a cemetery. So I just take the last power nap in a cemetery,
Oh
but
wow!
I was very very tired, and so
You did not
I
realize.
didn't realize that it was a cemetery before going to
Wow.
sleep. So this is ultracycling. Is a journey. Is a life journey. It's not only a race.
How many people usually sign up for a race like that?
This year we were more or less 65 riders,
Okay.
and maybe first riders covered the entire route in 18-20 days, and the last ones maybe in a couple of months.
He's still biking.
Yeah, when I came back home for a couple of weeks, I continued looking for them.
track.
And when I arrived at the end, someone were in Kansas, and so in the middle of the route. So
Wow.
it's crazy.
Wow, 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 wow. So maybe we could talk also about you mentioned this idea of the power nap. I mean, how do you train for such a long uh, endurance race? And I mean, there's a lot of, I guess, research on your body that you have to do, training, how you eat.
We can start talking about the mental and the physical part. If we split those two parts, maybe 70% is mental and just 30% is
Really?
your body, so your muscle and your power and what you are able to do on the bike. So usually I train like a standard pro cyclist. So every day I just have a daily routine. I go out with my bike, I do exercises, I do maybe 3, 4, 5 hours depending on the plan of the daily plan. But the most important part is how you manage the tiredness and how you manage when your mind go very low, and how you manage everything that can happen during a so long races. If you ride for 7,000 kilometers, maybe you can have punctures, maybe you can break something, maybe you can need something, you can maybe everything can happen during ultra cycling. So the most important part is the mental one. And by my side, there is no way to train really the mind. I don't do any exercises for the mind. I just keep go, and I use my experience, because every time that I start, when I start to race, my mind remember the past experiences and remember how to fix problems and how to solve what it happened.
Yeah. And I think this is a perfect connection with one of the questions that we receive from our students. So Olivia sent us a question, which I think, so when you go on this long cycling journey, what do you do when you're losing energy or motivation? And how do you push yourself to keep going, since now there's this important, so, and did you find yourself in such situations during your...
Every time that I start for ultra cycling race, I find myself in this situation. So there is a moment when your body completely lose any energies. So you have just to manage with your mind. And I keep motivation in the fact that now I'm here and I'm talking about not only my job, but my biggest passion. When I was a baby, my dream was to be a professional cyclist, an explorer, an adventurer, an ultra cyclist. So when I'm very tired, I just keep the motivation, remembering that this is my biggest dream. So this is my real motivation and the way that I use to keep going and to go over the difficulties.
Olivia, are you here? Yes. You want to elaborate, or you want to ask something else to Omar, since we're... Sorry, we have to put you on the spot, but since you've been...
Or we need a microphone, yeah.
We have a mic. Sorry for the recording.
Hi.
How we can kind of progress through our work when we're having difficulties or when we're tired or burnt out. How do we help ourselves get through it, be motivated to keep doing what makes us happy?
Yeah, I think that we can apply
Thank you.
this. Thank you. I think that we can apply this mindset to every job that we do and to every activity of our life. First of all, we have to do what we love more. And passion is the base for the success. You can't have success in something that you don't love. So maybe, cycling and ultra cycling is my biggest dream, but there is also some dark parts, and in the darkness, I just keep my motivation, remembering when this dream was born. And you just have to think at that moment, maybe when you were a baby, or I don't know, when your dreams start growing up. So thinking about that moment, it could be a good strategy for me.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was your last achievement, which again we're very. Did you bike through Arkansas by any chance, or
Kansas,
New York State, because some of the students are from New York
now we
State?
did. Maybe we have a map. I don't remember. No, just on my. No, we can show the map, but it's. I remember is Oregon. Then we cycled through Idaho, and then Montana, Wyoming, and Colorado.
So you have to go on the.
On the mountains, on the Rocky Mountains.
By the way, are you free to choose the itinerary, or the itinerary is
a fixed
okay?
For the future, they are thinking about some options, but right now is just on a fixed.
So there are what checkpoints?
There are some checkpoints, and you have to follow the route that the organization provides to you at the start.
Okay.
And after Colorado, you go downhill. So from the Rocky Mountains, you go down to the Kansas. That it was very windy and very hot also. Then Missouri, Ohio, and then finally Kentucky and Virginia. So it's 10 states. Yeah.
Wow.
And maybe it's 4 time zone, 3 time zones, no, 4 time zones.
Yes.
So you have also to manage the time that changes during the race.
Wow, that's pretty
And
incredible.
we have a video about not the last experience, but the 2019 ones. So if you want, we can.
Shall we try Fabio again, or are we gonna?
Is the Transamerica? Dovrebbe essere scritto. Spero. Okay. It was a video about my first experience with Transamerica. È arrivata anche la pioggia. Zona Omar, si pedala sotto una pioggia battente da circa 9 ore, arrivando a West Yellowstone. Stai giù! Stai giù! Yorktown, dall'altra parte degli Stati Uniti. Kentucky was strange.
Really?
Yeah. Because in every village that you pass, there are a lot of free dogs, but very aggressive dogs.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And the owner,
They don't care.
they don't care about this.
It's your problem.
And then dogs love cyclists.
Yeah. Excellent, excellent. So you brought a bicycle, which I think it's interesting to talk about because it's related to the other great opportunity, challenge, and future plans that you have. Shall we talk about it a little bit?
Yeah.
Because this is a different bike. It's not the one that you used.
This one is a fat bike. Is especially designed and set up for the winter experiences. And a couple of years ago, I launched a project called Bike to 1.5 degrees. Is a project to spread the word about the climate change and to raise awareness on it. because, you know, we are living a really hard period, I think, and we must act and we must do something. And in my role as a cyclist and as maybe I can say influencer, I don't love this name, but
in a
you know,
way,
I can influence people that follow my adventures. And so the bike, you know, is maybe the more sustainable vehicle that we have, and we can use the bike not only to go to Antarctica or to the North Pole or to Canada or to Alaska, but also to move into the city. For example, in Rome, we have a lot of problems here in Rome with the traffic, and bike is maybe the right answer to the question what we can do. And so I started doing this project. It's a project that involves a lot of scientists. During my adventure, I do some interviews and then some live talk, and then I just show about the route that I do and the problems about the melting glaciers and so on. This year I was in Ladakh, in the northern, this is a region in the northern part of India on the Himalayas. Maybe we have a video also about this.
Fabio,
Dovrebbe esserci il video Alone in Ladakh, se non sbaglio. No, quello lì è quello dell'Antartide. Ce n'è uno sul Ladakh forse, se te l'ho copiato. Se no non te l'ho copiato. No, c'è l'Antartide. E allora non te l'ho copiato. Okay, so this year I was also in Ladakh, this region in the north part of Himalaya, and they have a lot of problems with the melting glacier. They don't have water. They can't use the water as we use here in the city. So all this adventure is a part of this big project, and this bike is is a special bike that we designed to cross the Antarctica. And as you know, Antarctica has a lot of problems about the melting of the ice. And last year I tried to do the crossing of Antarctica.
that, if I'm not wrong, no one ever tried the crossing Antarctica on a bike.
Someone tried, but no one did it.
Succeeded.
Yeah. So, and also me last year, I just had to come back home because I had a lot of problems. And this year, maybe I will try again to cross Antarctica. But you can see on the bike the climate stripes by the UK scientist Ed Hawkins. This is the graph about how the temperature is rising from the pre-industrial era, and maybe is a sign of what we can do and the actual situation. And I want to show people that we are in a really, really, really bad period, and we must act. We have to do something. So by my side as a cyclist, I can just suggest to use the bike, to move with the bike, to leave the car in the garage if you don't need to use it, and to be more sustainable.
Yeah, maybe Fabio, we can put the video now so we can talk about the one that you were just trying to show early.
L'Antartide, quello di prima con la bicicletta gialla.
Abbiamo una cosa sullo schermo.
This was the video. This is the video about the event. This is my that I have when I was sleeping.
So, I mean, this is obviously is not a race. This is just a challenge
Yeah.
to. So, and I think it's interesting to see how you are partnering with, in this case, Villiers Triestina, which is an Italian manufacturer.
Yeah.
So there is a research about the bicycle.
There is
Can
a
you
research
tell
about-
us about how does it take to prepare such an important adventure?
This is a lot of research on this bike, because you must have a fat bike first of all, so a bike that is able to float on the snow, and then you have to use the right material, because you have to face something like minus 40, minus 45 Celsius degrees. So you can't use the carbon, for example, but you have to realize in this case a steel frame, and then you have to do some reinforce on the back, because I will be completely alone, so I have to bring with me a pulk with all the stuff. It's something like 80 to 90 kilos, so you have to have a very strong structure there on the back, because
So
you have to attach a pulk.
almost 200 pounds, just to give you an idea. That's
Sorry,
that's,
because I don't
no, I
know
bet it you
the
you
conversion right.
yeah.
And so there is a lot of things that you have to manage, because you will be alone, completely alone, so you have to have the best bike, and you don't have to have something to solve, because if you have to solve something in so hard conditions, maybe it could be really difficult, because you can't use your hands, because at minus 40 Celsius degrees you have to keep the gloves, but you can't use your hands with big gloves, so everything is very difficult right there.
Yeah. I bet. But you can do that only in the summer, though,
In
right? The local
Antarctica
summer.
yeah, in the local summer, that is 24 hours daylight,
Okay.
and the temperatures was from minus 30 to minus 40 degrees, depending on, maybe when you start on the coastal area, maybe is warm, because it's minus 15, minus 20 degrees, but when you go up to the South Pole, that is something like 3,300 meters on the sea level, so it's very high. Temperatures will decrease, and you will find something like minus 40, minus 45 degrees, with katabatic winds that are very strong winds. So also you have to bring with you the right tent, because the tent is your house for a couple of months. So
2 months. That's how much it would.
the window for this experience is like 60 days, 65 days, because you have the permission just for the summer season.
Okay.
And season, it starts on the mid of November and end on the end of January. So I can use at maximum 60, 65 days. And then depends on the weather, because sometimes you will be stuck in the tent for a week, and you can see, because you don't have a forecast here.
Of course. And so, how long did it last? Your first attempt? How long have you been there? Like,
I was stuck at the base camp at the start for a week, because of really bad weather conditions, and then I started, and I just do 9 days, and I stayed at least 3 days completely stuck in the tent.
wow.
The strong wind and very bad conditions. Yeah.
Oh, and how do you communicate with the world? Do you have what, a satellite?
I have a satellite phone and a really small modem, but it's very slow. You can just send some text through the email, and very compressed image, just for social purpose, and it's hard. Yeah.
Wow.
And also your voice, there is a lot of voice lag when you call at home. It's not like a WhatsApp call.
So in a certain way, it's almost like being in the space. Almost.
And the astronauts go to Antarctica to do training and to do research on the material. And I have also a partnership with the European Space Agency,
Mhm.
because there are something that is very, very, very close to the astronaut's life on the ESS.
Wow. Yeah, I can definitely see that. So I would like to turn to some of other questions that we receive from other students. Alexander is actually asking us more than one question. I think, Alex, that the first one, when you say, talking about building endurance and, again, the idea of mental acceptance of what you're doing has been partially addressed by Omar. But he says, he's saying, is there any recommended routine now to do before doing these activities that you mentioned a little bit? Because you said the mental is important, but also the physical part.
The physical part is important, and you have to train. I have a trainer, so I have a coach that helped me on doing the plan and studying the best plan, considering my conditions and considering also the challenge that I have to face. And mentally, I just try to enter in a sort of bubble. So I just keep my mind trying to be in the mindset of the adventure for a month before. Maybe I do some solo experience. Maybe I keep just my tent and I go to do 1 or 2 nights just to test everything. Just because I have to enter this bubble where there is just me and the adventure. So this is my strategy for the last part of the training.
Okay. They're right. You can ask more if you want, but he asked another question, which I think is very interesting. Since we talk about America, Antarctica, Ladakh, other places. So from your travels around the world, what areas were the best that were catered to cyclists? If I understand correctly, where was the best part for you now to being a cyclist?
The best part for being cyclist, in terms of road safety. In terms of road safety, I have to say everywhere out of Italy. Because in Italy we have a big problem with road safety, and we don't have respect to cyclists and to pedestrians. So it's maybe, I'm so sad to say this, but this is the situation. And there is a lot of respect in the north of Europe, maybe Norway, Finland, and Sweden, but in the United States of America, I did 7,000 kilometers, and I never had any risks. And for me, it's crazy because in Italy, when I go out for training, every day I risk a lot.
Yeah.
In America, it's crazy because drivers stay a very long distance from they left a lot of distance when you go. You try to pass you just in very safe conditions. They have a lot of respect to cyclists, so I experienced a lot of respect in America.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, I'm a cyclist too, and when I come to the office, believe it or not, one of the most dangerous parts of my journey is when I bike on the bike lane that we have in Prati, because we don't have the culture, and so I now prefer to ride on the main road because it's safer than being on the cycling path, because the cars simply ignore that cycling path
they don't
exists.
stop.
They don't stop, and I stopped going, which is, unfortunately, it's a problem.
Out of Italy, when a car crosses a bike lane, it stops immediately. In Italy, they do everything in a bike lane. They park the car, they cross the bike lane. It's very crazy.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's
And
absolutely.
every day when I go out to train, I have to discuss with drivers. It's frustrating in Italy.
And Alex is asking also a third question, which, Alex, I hope I understand correctly. You're talking about the let me read it. It's easier. What scale of detail do you notice on the trail on a bike as opposed to the scale of detail you would notice by walking? So I guess is the difference between
walking or running?
Walking. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense, but you have to consider that if you go cycling, maybe you go 20, 30 kilometers per hour, so not so fast as when you are on a motorcycle or maybe on a car. Cycling, I think that cycling is can offer you the right speed to travel, because it's not fast, but it's not too much slow like walking. For example, if you want to cross the United States of America by walking, maybe you have to stay 1 year. I don't know. So you have you need a lot of free time to go on a journey by walking. By cycling, you can do great journey in a short time, maybe. So for me, the cycling is the best way to have a journey, definitely.
Yeah. And you said, if you think about it, the bicycle, what was invented, what, 200 years ago, maybe
Yeah.
more, and it's still so actual, and it's
And
still
it's
so,
still the same structure of 200 of years ago,
yeah,
because maybe we improved the materials, we improved we
absolutely.
have lighter bikes, we have a lot of engineering on the bike, but if you look at a bicycle, it's pretty the same.
Yeah. What do you think about e-biking, by the way?
I think that the e-bike is the best way to reduce traffic, because you can train like me,
Right.
or maybe if you just use your bike to go to the office or to go to the school or just to move on the city, maybe you don't have the best training. So the e-bike can offer you the opportunity to move in a more sustainable way without using the car,
Yeah.
and saving some energies,
Yeah. Yeah. And still doing some training.
and still
Yeah.
doing some training, because you don't have you have to remember that you do effort also on the e-bike, because you can decide the level of the assistance.
Yeah.
So it's also a good way to train.
Yeah. They're gonna try the e-bike in a few weeks. We're going to the Dolomites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where?
Yeah. We do this weekend, and I don't know who's coming with us in the room. Okay, we have
In
a
which
few of
area
them.
exactly?
We go in the Valposteria,
Ah, wow, nice.
Pustertal, and so they're gonna try the e-bike. So I know that we're almost running out of time. I would like to ask if anyone in the room, after what we've been saying, and again, just keep it informal. Do you guys have any questions or curiosity that you would like to ask Omar? Yes. Yes, please.
Thank you.
Excellent. So we can hear you.
So I was wondering, like Alexander's question was really interesting on the scales of perception. I was thinking the same thing because I've had to deal with long roads and walking through, and there's nothing going on, and it's such a long distance. But how do you think, since you've experienced the different scales of being on a bike, how can we make the world more accessible to biking, or how can we even make biking more accessible to the world so that it's as used in, say, North America as cars are, as used as walking?
Have you ever been in Netherlands? If you go in Netherlands, you will be really surprised on how they changes the structure of the cities, the big cities, but also the small villages, to give more access to pedestrian, to cyclists. So we can do it, but we need to want to need. So
Yeah.
we need the will to do so,
And this is, by the way,
and also the politic will to do.
absolutely. This is a great question, and most of the students here, if not all, I don't know, are architects. So we deal with urban issues, and yeah, not only the Netherlands, Copenhagen is a great example. There are lots of cities around the world which are embracing the idea of cycling
Also
as,
in Germany there is a Freiburg,
yeah,
that is very bike friendly city.
as a way to transform the city. So there is a fantastic book, which I don't know, maybe I know the Italian title, which is Noi ciclisti salveremo il mondo. We, the cyclists, will save the world. And it's very well written. If you are interested in the topic, which I think you are, since you're here tonight, I recommend reading it, because it addressed the idea of cycling from multiple point of view. Obviously, now, Omar, you represent the extreme, and that's amazing. But this book address the issue of how cities can change, the health, how people are becoming healthy. The impact on public health would be impressive. You know how much we suffer of obesity, people overweight. Riding a bicycle, not like Omar, who is so slim, but just riding the bicycle will help people to reduce heart disease, which would have an incredible benefit on the public health and the money. So
I think that when you think about the city of the future, and when you try to design a city, the first thing that you have to do, or you should do, is to put the man in the center of your project, not the vehicle, not the car, but the man. And then you can build the city all around the man. So because sometimes we have very big roads for a lot of cars, but we don't need. We just need more space for people to move. We need more green areas. We need more areas where people can talk, can go shopping, can go to the restaurant, and so on, and where they can walk or cycle safely.
Thank you so much for the question.
Thank you very much.
Other questions, guys, before we avevi un altro video, oppure do you have another video, or think
no, ma li avevamo messi
okay,
parlando,
okay.
insomma.
So
quello della DAC l'hai trovato? No. Quale c'hai? No, quello ne avevamo parlato già, a posto così. Grazie.
Bene, so again, thank you so much for coming back. It's always a pleasure having you here with us. Thank you guys for joining us tonight, and we wish you all the best for the next adventures. What is the next item on your list?
I can't announce, but
you cannot. Okay.
I cannot, but I gave you some suggestions during the talk. So
okay. Grazie, Omar.
Thank you very much. And maybe a day we can cycle together. Why
absolutely. You can join. You can come with us on the Dolomites. Why not? But you bike with the real bike. We go with the engine, and you push.
I can do it. I can try it. Thank you very much.
Last minute question.